Hey everyone, welcome to an episode of the Diamond Diaries, a podcast about women in baseball, hosted by a woman in baseball, yours truly, Chelsea Raymer. Recording. Okay, yay. Oh my
It's
gosh.
always it's so funny when that does it every time. It like low-key gives me flashbacks to like back when it was like all Zoom days,
Yeah.
and that like voice will forever be in my head. Like, okay, now recording.
Yes, well, oh my gosh, it's so nice to meet you virtually. Thank you so
Yeah, you
much for being
too.
here. I'm so excited. How
Of
are you? How
course.
is your off season? But it doesn't really look like an off season because you're super busy. How's that going?
So good. You know the drill.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's the off season, but I will say it puts everything into perspective when you don't have a game every
Yeah.
single day. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome, but at the same time it's like, "Oh my gosh, I actually have like a Wednesday night off." Like you know it. It's crazy. Everyone's like, "What are you talking about? It's a Wednesday night." And I'm like, "No, this is a big deal. Like it's Wednesday night and I can like sit on my couch and like eat food and watch sports. It's great."
Yes, no, I totally feel that. My roommate and I, we can sit down and like start a TV show. Like we just started Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and like we can start and finish this.
Okay, I haven't seen it, which I need. I'm literally living in Utah. I feel like I
Yes,
have
oh my
to.
gosh.
Like they're literally everywhere. So I feel like I need to watch it, but how is it? Is it good?
It's good. I usually don't watch like reality TV very much, but my roommate started it and I was like casually eating dinner and I can see the TV in here and I was like, I'll join you for this. And we're like 2 episodes in and now every night she waits like we wait for each other to get home and I'm like, okay, we'll do 2 or 3 episodes before bed.
I absolutely love that. Yeah, I might, I don't know, we'll see. I might have to. Everyone says like really good things, so might be my next show.
But no, so I always keep up with all the different like minor league teams, just kind of seeing what everyone's doing, and I always love all of your stuff. Like it's
Oh, thank
so
you.
amazing. I never skip a sideline Sammy video. So when I started this,
You're so sweet.
I was like, I know I need to ask her about your journey in sports and everything, because I know that there's probably so many women that want to, follow in your footsteps and all
Thank
of these
you.
things. So I just wanted to start by asking kind of where you're from and then how did sports play, a big part of your life before working in it full time?
Yeah, so I basically knew I wanted to be in sports my entire life. The running joke in my family is I could dribble a basketball before I could even walk. So, huge sports family. And for me, in the back of my head, too, I was like, I could get paid to watch and talk about sports and have the privilege to tell athletes and coaches stories. So, it was a no-brainer. I grew up playing basketball and volleyball throughout my whole life. And then as I got older and older, I was like, man, this could like really be a reality. Like it's not just a dream. And then I chose to go to Arizona State, and that was probably one of the best decisions of my entire life. Um, I can't even, you can probably tell by my face, the amount of memories, even by like me just saying Arizona State, not only allowed me to get to where I am today, but my best friends, the best professors. So, yeah, for me, it was always sports. And I hope for the rest of my life, it will always be sports.
Coming from that big sports family, was there like a specific moment ever where you were just like, oh my gosh, like this is it? Like anything in particular that sticks out to you?
Oh, I feel like there's so many. So my brothers both played, well, one played football and basketball, and the other one played basketball. So there are like old home videos of me I'm like a little baby and my mom was coaching them in like little AAU basketball. And so I'm just like my head's jogging like up and down. And I think it's like I was genuinely on the sidelines when I was 6 months old. So I think even, don't get me wrong, I'm not like, oh, I remember those days.
Yeah.
But I feel like even back to that point, like it was always something that I was just there. Like I was at my
Mhm.
brother's games. And for any other specific moments, I think I'm a big Patriots fan. My mom's from Springfield, Mass, dad's from Allentown, PA. So I chose the Patriots side of the family. And my first time on the field at Gillette, I looked around and I was, I believe, a junior in high school. And I was like, whoa, like this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Whether it's an NFL stadium, MLB ballpark, NBA arena, NHL too, whatever it may be. I think it was that moment where my dad's and my eyes were ginormous. It was so big and I was looking around. It was freezing and TB12 was right there. I was like an arm's distance away from him and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is incredible." Yes, sign me up. So I think that if I had to choose a moment, that would probably be that moment.
Oh, that's awesome. I also grew up a Patriots fan, and I feel like that was such a good choice because I'm from Texas, and I don't think any of my friends, like, they've obviously never seen the Cowboys really win anything. So that,
Yep. You
that was
chose right.
that was always really fun. So, I know you talked about how much you absolutely loved Arizona State. Can you kind of elaborate on like what drew you there, and like, do you have any favorite memories from studying in their journalism school?
Yeah, so I grew up in California, and my older brother at that time was living in Arizona. And I'll never forget this. I was starting to look around at colleges, and he was like, "Sam, would you ever like think about going to school in Arizona?" I looked at him and I said, "Absolutely not. It's too hot. There is no way." I was like, "It is." I mean, on a football field during fall ball, it was 105 degrees, and you're feeling that 105. It's a brutal one. So I said, no, not for me. So I started touring around different schools. And at this point, I was like dead set, best like journalism school I could go to. So I was thinking about the usuals. You have the Mizzous, you have the Syracuse, you have the Northwesterns, all of those classics, the Floridas. And then I kept hearing, I was like, ASU, everyone kept talking about ASU. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. We were out visiting my brother, and then my other brother was a coach at University of Arizona. So that was also in the back of my head. I was like, man, am I really gonna go like fully against the family and be a Sun Devil instead of a Wildcat? But the moment I went on campus, downtown Phoenix is where Cronkite is. And I had a full-on tour and everything, and my mouth was on the floor. Their facilities were insane. Like I've been in a lot of big studios, whether it's ESPN, whether it's Fox, CBS, and this studio was like, I'm not going to say it was an ESPN studio, but it was a very, very well done studio. And the professors were great. Everyone I met was absolutely phenomenal. And I think a few weeks later, I was like, okay, I'm going to ASU. Like, this is the place for me. Another big part to it was they let you get reps right away. I know at some other schools, it's more of like a gradual, you do some of your gen eds and then you make your way up. Freshman year, my freshman year was COVID. So it was 2020. And my first game I ever did as a sideline reporter, like official, was cardboard cutouts in Desert Financial Arena. And it was myself, play-by-play analyst, the team's coaches, support staff, and that's it. There was no fans, and they threw me in right away. So I think that was the biggest part because you always hear reps in this industry. Get as many reps as you possibly can. They said, "Good luck, Sammy. Go after it." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And that's how you learn. Like, yes, of course, the professors are amazing. I learned so much. Also, I did some more like news and political. I wrote like a police report for one of my classes. So that's also great to have in your back pocket. Don't get me wrong, I never thought to myself, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be, a political reporter. But still, it was amazing to have that. And then I got to cover the men's Final Four in 2024, which going back to college basketball and basketball being my first love, that was a dream come true. I had a beat with the Phoenix Suns, so I was going to Phoenix Suns shoot around interviewing Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and that was just a normal day. And then that afternoon, I would have like an English class. Like it was an amazing life to live. So those 4 years, best 4 years, and then the people that you meet there, the relationships, the connections. I mean, Paula and Gail are two of my biggest mentors, and we have a professional bureau there, and they've helped me grow leaps and bounds. And just the connection. Now, you say, I went to the Cronkite School at Arizona State, people know that it's becoming more of a household name. So, yeah, shout out ASU. You guys are the best. Forks up, baby.
No, that's awesome. So I'm curious, since you did start with, COVID being your freshman year, I love how you mentioned the cardboard cutouts. Do you
Yeah.
remember your first game where you were just like in an arena packed with people, it was loud, where you're on the sideline for the first time? What was transitioning from, the cardboard and just having, staff and athletes there to those really, really big arenas?
Oh man, it was a shift. It was a shift to say the least. You're in there, and that's why obviously COVID was horrific. It was horrible. The only semi-positive, I always try to take positives out of, not the best situations, was it was great to not have the pressure of people really they were just cardboard cutouts and they had like some fun celebrities and everything, but it got my feet wet. So when I got to the point, I almost want to say definitely beginning of sophomore year, but the end of my freshman year, they were already starting to let fans in, especially for baseball, because you're outside, you're,
Yeah.
not in an arena. But I think at that point, I already had that, confidence in myself. Like, okay, you can do this. And in a way, I kind of told myself, like, they're cardboard cutouts. Like, I don't care. Like they might be like moving in people, but in my head, I was just like, they're just, it's cardboard cutouts again. So it wasn't the craziest shift. I will say the first football game I did in stadium hosting for Sun Devil Athletics. My first football game, that one sold out crowd. I don't even know how many people were there. And they had me do something at the 50-yard line. And that was one of my big moments where I did the look around. I was like, oh man, don't mess up, Sam. You got this.
Oh, no, that's so awesome. So since you did go to such a big, popular journalism school, I love your nickname, Sideline Sammy, and saw,
Thank
you
you.
kind of building your own brand. How did you, start to build your own brand and come up with the nickname?
Yeah, that was actually my senior year of high school. We were just I knew I wanted to be a sideline reporter at that point. And I was like, I love alliterations. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, sideline, Sammy. I was like, just put them together. And so it just came to be. And yeah, and then all my friends, I never in my wildest dreams thought my nickname in college would just be sideline. So I would be in our dorms. The dorm rooms were called Taylor Place. And I remember like it was yesterday. I was walking on the 11th floor. They put all the journalism kids together. And I would just hear it was never Sammy. And I would just get so used to hearing sideline. And I'd be like, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, what do you need? Yeah. And that was my name. And I would just be called sideline. And it was great. Now it's kind of, people just call me Sammy and it's wonderful. But those college years, I got a lot of just sidelines. But I think it's so important to try to any way you can kind of separate yourself a little bit. And at that point, that was kind of my separation. And now it's just a really funny joke too that we always have my friends from college. They'll just pick up the phone, sideline, sideline. So
Oh my
it's a
gosh.
good time.
No, I love that. That's so funny. So I did see while you were in college, you went out to the Cape Cod League to do sideline reporting for the Orleans Firebirds. That's awesome. Huge fan of the Cape Cod League. How did
Oh
that
yeah.
opportunity come about?
I love the Cape Cod League. It is the best thing ever. So going into it, I was hearing everyone says Cape Cod, best summer of your life. That every single person I talked to that either did play-by-play, analyst, sideline, whatever capacity they had like writers. And everyone said it. And I was like, I have to find a way to get one of those spots because it's a coveted spot. There's only 10 teams and there's essentially three, on-air talent on each team, and not all teams have sideline reporters. And I was like, I have to get a spot. And I heard really good things about Orleans because Scotty Gange, which he's incredible. He was like a Jim Nance Award winner. He also went to ASU. So he's like a household name at Arizona State. And so he was with Orleans. So right away, I knew nothing about the actual teams. I knew how historic the Cape League was, but I didn't know the teams. But that, I think it was 2 or 3 summers before I went, he was with the Firebirds. So that was the first team in my head. I was like, well, Scotty's incredible. He has a great job. He's phenomenal at what he does. I want to follow in his footsteps, basically. And a lot of people from Arizona State, they just kind of, in a weird way, they were gravitating towards Orleans. I know Chatham usually takes a lot of Syracuse
Yeah.
broadcasters, so it has a weird way of working itself out with just the network of people that you know. And so I reached out, went through the whole process. And when I tell you that Firebirds family is incredible, Kelly Nicholson, the manager, he's been there forever. One of the best managers, and I'll just say coaches I have ever worked with in my entire life. Had an interview with him every single before the game, sometimes after the game, would give me the most phenomenal answers. Also, just the best human being ever. Our team was amazing. Like the memories are all flooding back to me right now, but they also let me do whatever I want. They gave me full reign. So I will, no matter where I go for, the rest of my career and journey, I will attribute so much of my success to the Cape because I learned so much. One day I would try something, absolutely hated it. I was like, oh my goodness, Sammy Miller, never do that again. It was the worst. And the next day I had another opportunity to try something else. And I had Ian and Dylan were my play-by-play guys. They were incredible. Like the connections and relationships that you build. I lived in a house with five guys and one bathroom. It was
Oh
this
my gosh.
small house oh yeah, on the Cape. I basically was living like the new girl life.
Mhm.
And it was amazing because you got to meet like everyone kind of, a lot of people were from the East Coast. So they would come over to our house after games and it was the best. So I fully recommend if you have the opportunity to even go out to games. I would say like during like the summer, even vacation out there, it is incredible. The food's amazing. I miss those lobster rolls and clam chowders so much too. So 10 out of 10.
So, what was the application process kind of like? I know you said it was really competitive. I've never like applied or anything to the Cape League, and I know so many people who work there, so I'm kind of curious, was it like a formal application or how did that work?
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm like so old. I'm like, man, let me think back to that time. I know it was definitely an application. I want to say it was on their website. I think they all have like separate ones on their websites, and then you go to apply, and then definitely the full interview process. So you would talk to like two of their heads, and then if they liked you, you'd move on to the next round. So it was very much so like a formal, regular interview process. But I'm pretty sure you go that route, but it always helps if you know somebody that was there before you or even in that realm because you could be like, hey, how did you apply? Or can you like send a quick text to recommend me? But yeah, it was incredible.
That's awesome. I'm also like impressed with the living with five guys with one bathroom. That would like almost tip me over the edge potentially.
Yeah, let's just say I was pretty strict. The big
Yeah.
rules, the cleaning was
Mhm.
essential, but the beauty of it is we were barely there. I mean, you
Yeah.
leave for the ballpark at what? Probably 1 o'clock, you're there, and then it's such a late night. And on the Cape, there's like no restaurants that are open like after the game because everything closes so early.
Mhm.
So I believe it was called like the lazy dog or something like that. Something with the dog was that was like the only restaurant opened. And anyone on the Cape that's watching this, you're probably gonna be like, yep, that's the place. But it was the best. It was the only restaurant there. So we weren't there a lot, but it showed me a lot about living with that
Yeah.
many men in one house. So it was a fun time though.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. So once you graduated, you began working for the Salt Lake Bees in Utah. So that's the AAA affiliate for the Angels. That's so awesome. How was that job hunt? I feel like that's something people are always interested in because it can be really difficult or kind of
Oh yeah.
crazy. How was that going for you found the opportunity?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like you said, it's stressful because you put in anybody who works in sports, especially in college too, you don't live a normal college experience. Like, yes, I went to Arizona State. There's a lot of stigma around ASU. It's the party school, it's all of that. I didn't have the normal college life, and I chose that because I wanted this career. So you give up a lot. So that's always in the back of your head of that extra, motivating factor of I just did at this point it was I had one more semester to go. So 3.5 years of blood, sweat, and tears to my dream, which would be to get a job right out of college. So I started my I started my process probably in December of my senior year of just getting feelers out, seeing, what's open. And for me, my first thought was baseball. A, because I love it. B, because I did that season on the Cape and that kind of tested me. Like if you can get through that season on the Cape and wish that there was double or triple the games like an MLB season, then, pursue a career in baseball. And that was 100% my case. And then C, it is the only sport right after graduation, or one of the only like main sports after graduation. So that was in the back of my head, and I was trying to really get creative because a lot of people do go the local news route, which I have so many of my friends that are there now, and it's a great route to take. It's definitely the more traditional route. Like you've seen so many people that you turn on the TV, they probably started in local news. And I was ready to do that, but the opportunity with the bees came up, and at first it was just in-game host. And I said, "Hey, here's my talents. Like I'm a trained multimedia journalist from ASU. I know how to work all the big cameras. Like I've been in control rooms, I've done producing, I've done directing. I know how to run social media channels. And then obviously I know how to be a sideline reporter, which is my biggest passion." So I kind of threw all of that at them and I was like, I can be your essentially one woman show. Like, give me a shot. And at this point, I'm still in college. This is February of my senior year. So, still finishing up my degree and everything. And they said, "Yeah, we want you. Let's do it." And that was the craziest experience ever. I was so happy, so thankful for the opportunity that they would take, a chance on a 22-year-old girl that's still in college. And then I started out the season and I was doing a month in or a week in Utah and a week in Arizona. I wish it was a month. So I was going back and forth. And because I was still finishing my degree. And then at that point, I was prepping for the Final Four that was happening. And I wanted to make sure, I mean, that's an opportunity of a lifetime. So I was prepping for that, but bees season had started. So I was doing the back and forth. And after a bees game, I would get back to my apartment that literally had my air mattress because I had no furniture here yet. So I had my air mattress and little side table, and I would be on Canvas and I would be doing my homework assignment for that night.
Mhm.
So I felt like Hannah Montana almost. It was like living a double life of like, oh my goodness. And I would go back to Arizona and all my friends were like, "Oh, we finally have you." But when I was back in Arizona, I was doing Pac-12 Network sideline for ASU baseball. So I was doing ASU baseball and then Bees baseball. So my mind was like in two different places at all times. But I loved it. It was incredible. It was probably the craziest 3 to 4 months I'll
Yeah.
ever have. And then I got my degree and then I moved out here to Utah full time. So it's been crazy. I'm a full-blown Utah person now. I never would have thought I would be in Utah right out of college, but I love it here. Salt Lake's amazing.
So, what did your family think, like with all the going back and forth and like juggling all the craziness?
Oh yeah, they weren't even surprised to be honest. They were like, "Sammy, like I love to travel too." That's the thing with me is I even throughout my life I was always traveling and on the go. So that part wasn't that new. And then everyone that's close to me, my close circle, knows how badly I want this. Like it's never been a question for me. It's been my, biggest motivating force through this all. So they definitely were like, "Oh gosh, I hope you're getting a little bit of sleep." But I'm blessed with the absolute best friends in the world as well that were so supportive through all of this. And I would come back from like a trip to Utah and come back to my apartment with like three of my best friends that I lived with, and they would have like a home cooked meal out for me. Like it was,
Oh,
yeah, am beyond blessed for the support system I have, which I think, as you know, like this is a crazy industry to work in. So having that core people that you trust with your life is very essential in this job.
that's awesome. So, once you get to Utah, you're there full time. Can you kind of take me through what a typical day looks like for you doing all those
Yeah.
awesome jobs?
It's crazy. So on a regular game day, I would be at the ballpark probably at 10 a.m. is when I would start the day. For me too, I just like being there and I like feet on the ground, let's get after it. Now I could be at my apartment prepping or whatever. Like I just like to be there and seeing what happens because especially in AAA baseball, a whole lot can happen in a day. We've saw, two or three guys get called up and then, one or two get sent down. And everything happens when you're there. So for me, I always found if I'm there, it's, a lot of stress is alleviated. So I'd be there and then I'd kind of prep for my day. So I was running all of the socials. So I was thinking, okay, what do we have to promote? Do we have a theme night? Do we have to make sure that we have all of our assets to our theme night? And then my like sideline brain on like, hey, what are the big storylines? Like who's coming into town? If we're starting off, if it's the Tuesday of the homestand, who are we seeing? Are we seeing any big guys? We had Jack Caglione and Christian Moore debut, their AAA debut in the same game. So like that day, for example, I was probably there at the ballpark at like 8 a.m. because I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm ready to go. So I do my prep. I'm a huge prepper. Like if I can get all the information, I just find myself that's where I'm most confident and comfortable. Everyone has their different styles of prepping. For me, I just want to know as much information as I possibly can because I feel like that allows me to be more natural on camera because it's all in my head. I never read off of anything. You see me, I have nothing in my hands. Like when I'm doing an interview, when I'm doing a live hit, I just like to be with the player. I think it just allows that, instant connection. We're not looking at anything. And some people do hold on to things. For me, I'm just off the dome. So I get there and then I'm prepping, and then around, I want to say 2 o'clock or so is when our every day obviously depends on how the players are feeling and what day you are in the homestand. And then the pitchers will come out for sides around like 2:30. So I usually talk to the pitchers, kind of see what the vibe is, who could be going that day, film a few like funny little mini mics with them, which are always hilarious. Those I feel like are taking over social media in the best way possible. It's so great to get their personalities. And then our position players will come out. They'll start doing their early work, defensive work, BP, whatever the manager has on the docket for that day. And then I'm out there during the whole time. So that's when I get my best information because I'm talking to the players, asking them if something big's happening. Like one of our players was, his wife was, expecting their firstborn. I want to say like it was, I think like 2 weeks left of the season. So it's just getting like that kind of you're becoming more comfortable with the players and getting more information. So I would do that. I would do my pregame interview with one of the players and then edit that. So I edit all of the content that I do just like on Premiere. So I'm editing all of that and then I get ready for game time. So at some point, try to get some food in me while I'm prepping right before game. And then we kind of start our little pregame show. Tony Parks, our play-by-play, is absolutely phenomenal. So we do our little pregame. I have my open in my head, and then it's full on game time. And then post game, hopefully it's a win. The Salt Lake Bees love doing a lot of water dumps. So,
Yes.
it would be a random Wednesday night and they're like, you know what? We're going to do a big water dump for the post-game interview. Nothing really crazy happened, but they want to do a water dump. So I probably had about 15 water dumps on me throughout this past season. And then I edit everything. And then eventually I make my way home, usually at 11:30 at night. So it's a long day for sure.
Yeah. Well, I love seeing all the content you make, like whether you're walking and talking with the player, the
Yeah.
mini mics, like you mentioned, or even in the crowd interviewing, a special celebrity or fan that's there. Do you have like a favorite segment that you do out of all of them?
Ooh, that's a good question. I obviously love when we have special guests. We were blessed to have, we had Jordan Clarkson, George Niang. Those were just our NBA guys. Kevin Millar.
I saw the Kevin Millar one because I love him. And I was like, he's literally
Yeah.
been to Portland like 3 times and I've never talked to him ever. And I'm like, and he's in Salt Lake and he's out there with the sideline reporter.
Oh yeah. Oh, when I see someone, I'm like, oh, we're getting that interview. I'm like, it's gonna happen. And then Diego Luna, who's a up and coming star in the MLS. So I'm definitely forgetting a whole bunch of them. So those are obviously so cool because it kind of puts in the worlds together, the different sports. We had some Mammoth players from the NHL come. So I love those, but I also love the walk and talks that we have because I always say I don't want to talk anything about baseball. No baseball. We are talking favorite candies, what you're doing on an off day, who has the best facial hair on the team. Like we are getting crazy with them, and I think the players appreciate it because so much of their life is baseball, baseball, baseball. And then I try to bring that energy and kind of, joy for life and just talk about some random things. And it's actually a lot trickier than people think walking and talking and making it look graceful. So I think it's also a good challenge for me because we've had a few, close calls with almost stumbles around the bases because you're walking and like so I start at home and then make your way around. And like we're going over the bases, and I'm like, please, please do not let me fall on the base. But knock on wood, we haven't had any falls yet.
Oh, that's awesome. And then going back to your Gatorade showers as well, how do you, I don't know, do you try to avoid them or do you just see it coming and you're like, yep, this is happening, it's happening, and you just kind of roll with it?
Yeah, so at first I had no idea because if you put yourself in my shoes, like it's a like of course, if it's a walk-off win, you're going
Mm.
to be expecting it's something crazy like that. It was just a random game. And that's like the first time they're like, let's do it. And also, like, I have the stats in my head. I know if it's a player's, first AAA home run, all the big milestones. Nope, they just did it for fun. So those, I have no idea. I 100% would love to move out of the way because
Mhm.
my dry cleaning bills were a little insane because we had the Gatorade, we had the water. It was just,
Oh
I
yeah.
felt like I was smelling like a fruit punch character or something. And so I will try my best to get out, but they started getting a little like tricky.
Mhm.
So they would get out of my eyesight. So if they're like right here, I could see them. They would come up completely behind us. Don't even ask me how they even got the jugs. I don't even want to know. So they found a way. They thought it was the funniest thing ever. But that's the part with me. And I hope that, at least I hope this is kind of their stream of consciousness is I I love being a part of teams. That's why I love working with a team itself. So they know that I'm good with it. Like I'm gonna roll with the punches. I'm on my toes. Like I'm not someone that's like, "Oh gosh, no, I can't get my hair." Like no. I it's fun, it's great. It shows their personality and it's a long season. So if they have fun trying to trick me out with throwing, water on me, great. I'm so happy. Like that makes me happy. If I can alleviate a little bit of stress or craziness in their life, awesome. And it's great for me because it's hard when you get completely saturated with water and then you have to do a full-on interview. Like you're still going. It's still live television. So I think selfishly for me, it's helped me as a broadcaster because you have to think quick on your toes and yeah, it's a fun time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so funny. So I did see too you have like an abundance kind of jobs during the off season. I tried to like write them on down like piece of paper. So I saw ESPN Plus, hockey, Fox Sports, LOVB, and that's not even naming everything because I like ran out of ink with my pen. How did you end up with all of those opportunities during the off season?
Yeah, I am first and foremost blessed. I always say anytime I can get, one game with any of these teams, it's incredible. But it's all about networking. It's all about, sending out your reel is your ticket. If you have a solid reel that you're confident in, that's where in the olden days they would always joke like, oh, you would pass over like the DVD or whatever it was. Now it's, a link to YouTube. But I just started reaching out and I was like, hey, I'm, based in Utah because before the back and forth is always tricky. But once, my feet were here and this is where I knew my home was going to be, I just started reaching out to teams and I was like, I would love to be a part of what you're establishing here. And of course, you're going to get a whole lot of no's along the way, and that's a part of it. But you just try to learn from those no's. And anytime you get a no, if you're comfortable enough, ask why. Well, how can I improve? What are you looking for that maybe I don't have right now? Which is another whole other conversation of just like you being able to take criticisms and critiques is huge. If you can't take it, it might not be the industry for you because it's all about learning. I consider myself like an athlete in a way of like I do a game that night, I'm watching it back. Okay, what did I do? Oh, I hated how that question came out of my mouth. Like you're always learning. So, yeah, it's been so fun and I love how I have baseball season and then I have I call it like a mixed bag season because I do so many different sports that when it's baseball, I am locked in on baseball, eat, sleep, breathe. But then when it's not baseball season, I get to have, a lot of fun of doing like hockey one night and then I do volleyball another night and then basketball the next night. So this off season is a whole lot more of college basketball, which makes my heart happy. But yeah, I would just say networking, reaching out and being okay with no's and just trying to make the next no a yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I guess because you are so busy, I'm curious, how do you relax? Like, what do you do in your free time just to kind of wind down and step away from sports?
Oh man, I need to learn more how to do that. Sports are always on my mind. As crazy as it sounds, sitting on my couch and watching sports. I know it's such a lame answer. You're like, "Oh my goodness, Sammy, give me something else." But it kind of just releases me. And because I obviously don't do a whole lot of football, I love any chance that I can watch football because I feel like I'm just I'm learning so much. The sideline reporters, I'm like, bless, you guys are incredible. You guys are the icons. And it's just fun to kick back and, not be able, I don't have to analyze every single play that's going on. I can just watch a game. But it's also gorgeous up here in Utah. So I love getting outside. Unfortunately, I don't ski or snowboard, which everyone says, like, come on, you have to get on the mountains. I'm like, I think I would break my ankle in 5 seconds. But there's gorgeous hikes out here. I live right by City Creek, which is a stunning mall. I'm obsessed with it. It's probably not a good thing that I live so close to this mall, but yeah. And then Christmas time, Utah loves their holidays. It's something I learned about. So there's so many different like Christmas markets and activities. So I try to get out and do some fun things, but also in sports, most games are at night, unless you have a 2 o'clock Sunday or Saturday game. So that makes it a little bit tricky because during the day I'm just kind of like hanging out. I'm trying to call my friends like, hey, what's up? They're like, Sammy, like I have a 9 to 5. And I'm like, oh, like I have like the later shift. Like I work at night, not really in the mornings. But yeah, I try to make a balance, but sometimes I'm not as successful.
No, I'm glad to know too. It's not just me. I've also never skied or done anything like
Yeah,
that. And my friends here try to get me to as well. And I'm like, I'm just too out of shape. I'm like, I'm not gonna try. I would probably break a hip or something. Like, I'm
same.
like, I can't.
I'm too afraid. My head,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be that like that meme that just keeps like rolling down
Yeah.
the hill. Absolutely not. Maybe a bunny hill, maybe, but
Right.
I don't even think, I don't know. I wouldn't bet on myself.
Yeah, no, same. I take a fitness class and I'm like, my knees hurt. And like, that's probably not healthy for someone in their 20s. So what advice would you give to a woman who wants to be in your shoes one day?
Oh man, I don't even know where to start. I would say put yourself out there. It's hard and it's no, crazy concept to say it's definitely still extremely hard for women to make it in this industry. Thank the good Lord that there are so many incredible women that we can look up to that have, paved that journey and we're kind of all following, on their path. But there's still so much more that has to be done, whether that's the broadcasting or just, the athletes, the female athletes that deserve a whole lot more. But I think putting yourself out there and, like I said before, you're going to get no's, but you have to keep the faith. Like there is a reason why you're so passionate about what you want to do. Like everything that happens it's meant to be. Yeah, does it suck to not get a job that you want? Of course, it's going to hurt. Like there are so many jobs that I wanted that I haven't gotten yet, and it hurts, and that's normal. Like we're human beings,
Mhm.
but to wake up the next day, you're like, nope, we're gonna keep putting ourselves, in front of people. What can I do today to get better? So I think being okay with rejection and knowing that it's a part of the process because you hear all the time the best of the best, the Laura Rutledge, the Erin Andrews. I can go on and on. The Malik Andrews. Like there are so many incredible role models, and they've had so many no's. Like now they're at a point where it's amazing, and people don't really think about the no's and the rejections, but everyone has it. So I think for me, at least, it was something hard when you first start out because no's aren't fun. But if you just push through, then when you get that big yes, I feel like it's going to be so much sweeter because you went through the no's, the rejections, all of those. So I'd probably say that'd be my biggest piece of advice.
Was there anyone in particular growing up, any women on the sidelines that you held as like a role model?
Oh man, I would say Erin Andrews for me is kind of like the gold standard. I feel like it's a very common answer just because you see her and she has this like aura about her. Also, I love how I feel like she's so respected too, but also a Doris Burke. I mean, Doris, I could listen to Doris Burke all day long. She is incredible. The knowledge that woman has, how she carries herself, a Holly Rowe. I mean, especially being out here in Utah too, she was one of the trailblazers out here in Utah and the history that she's made and she's everywhere. I turn on the screen, I'm on my phone. I don't know how she's able to like transport. She's incredible in how she makes people feel so comfortable and players so comfortable. And then the Molly McGrath, Laura Rutledge, like it is I'm so blessed, and we're all so blessed to be experiencing like this amount of excellence because it's incredible. And then for baseball, Kirsten Watson, I mean, she is sensational with the Dodgers. Like every time I listen to her, I learn so much. And I mean, she also back-to-back World Series. Like it is a grind. And on top of that, she also does so many other things. Like it's people like that that I just value so much in this industry. And they're so like Kirsten is incredible. I shadowed her at a Dodgers game a few weeks before I went to the Cape because I was like, oh man, like I'm about to be doing baseball every day. And I was, lucky enough to go to Dodger Stadium and shadow her. And so people that are so welcoming and will answer my texts or emails like saying, hey, can I ask you this question or can you look at my reel or resume? It's so great because they had people in their life that was passing it down. So if you can kind of continue on that trend in a way, like pay it forward, I think is so huge because we wouldn't be where we are today without the people who have helped us.
Yeah, definitely. And then my final question is, if you could go back in time, whether it was, I know you mentioned your 6-month-old self like bobbing their head up and down on the side of a basketball court, or even your, freshman self working through COVID, what do you think they would say if you told them like this is your life now? How crazy? Like what do you think their reaction would be?
Oh man, they would laugh. I was always like wanted to be a performer too. Like even like putting aside like the sports, there are like home videos of me holding a microphone and spoiler alert, I have the worst voice ever, like singing voice. And I thought I was gonna be on American Idol. So I had like the
Oh,
mic in my hand, like the bedazzled pink one. And so I always wanted to perform. Like we would have big family events with everybody. And I was like putting on these random performances with weird dance moves and singing. So I think a part of like people and like me as well, we wouldn't be surprised, but we would be so blessed with where we are. Like we always knew that I wanted to be in sports and like be like center stage or like perform, but it would be so much gratitude. Like it is the best job. Yes, of course, it is a grind. It is a grind like no other. There's a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. I mean, you're literally in a way getting judged of the words that come out of your mouth, but it is the best life to live. Like it, every day I wake up, I genuinely remind myself, or before a game or before whatever call I have that night, like kind of take a moment, take
mhm.
a deep breath, take it all in. For me, it's actually during the national anthem. That's when I kind of reset my mind and I'm like, okay, take it all in because you never know when your last game is going to be. So take it in. So it's been so fun. Little Sammy would be so proud, but also little Sammy is a competitor and she knows that hopefully this is only the beginning. So she wants a whole lot more things happening.
Oh my gosh, well, that is amazing. Thank you so much. That's all the questions I have. This was
Of course.
awesome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll chat again soon. XOXO, Chelsea.